For films to come out between the months of January and February, this is usually the time I like to call it more as the dark ages. Usually because during this time, movie studios tend to release a bunch of their throwaway films that they are feeling like they're not either going to be successful critically nor financially wise. But very few times, there are actually exceptions. The Fallout comes to us from first-time director and writer Megan Parks and stars Jenna Ortega, who I just recently saw in the last recent Scream film. I thought she was very good in that film. And now here she is in her first ever leading role where she plays an ordinary high school girl whose life gets turned completely upside down after experiencing a tragic shooting at her local high school. Technically, this film is a 2021 film, but this film was only premiered at the South by Southwest here in Texas, but yet we did not get it as a general audience till yesterday here on HBO Max, so I would like to actually consider this more as a 2022 film, in some ways. So like what I said about films that usually tend to come out in January and they're usually throwaway films, well, Fallout is not one of them. Actually, I should actually say that The Fallout is very good and probably the best film to come out in January. Technically, critical-wise is what I mean. But what is the best part about this film? Jenna Ortega. My God, she is amazing in this film. What an actress she is turning out to be. I thought that she was already good in the Scream movie, but I think that this is even the better performance coming out of this movie instead. She carried this entire film on her back. She's literally the best part. I literally bought into the whole psychological aspect that this girl was suffering and that her life was being completely ruined because of a terrible incident. I thought some of the other actors were pretty good, but none of them really did stand out as much as Jenna. This is pretty much her film. It's all centered around her, and she is the one that just shines out the most. Also, I like the fact how realistic, grounded, and how simple this story is. You can obviously tell that it is a small budget film because there's no like action, there's no seriousness, there's no big setups or anything. No, it's a small independent film, and they use it just right. And that, I think, is already enough good storytelling right there. And the fact is that they also kept it very real in terms of the script and for the kids. Because the way how the kids talk in this film, it is actually very accurate to how the kids talk in real life. I'm like, I know it's written by Megan Parks, who's not a teenager, but I'm like, this is how kids really talk. I've seen this. I've experienced this in high school. Now, I know I look like I still belong in high school, but trust me, it's been 6 years for me, but I know how teenagers talk, and this is probably the closest that I've seen from how a movie were to depict teenagers. Even better than the Spider-Man movie, I'll admit that. This is very accurate. One of the other aspects that I really do appreciate about this film is Phineas O'Connell's score. It really does tell the story, and it shows just how much that music is very important, just how much acting is. I will admit there was a few times that I get a little bit choked up while watching this film, although I don't really cry a lot in movies as much anymore because I've seen some of the saddest movies on earth, and this one did not make me cry one bit, but I will admit there's actually this one scene between her and her little sister, and they're just having a conversation between each other. I thought that was literally the best part of the entire film. It got to me personally. I actually thought it was well acted, it was well paced, and it was well directed. Although there were times I did admit that this film is not perfect either. The cinematography, there are a lot of shots in this film where I felt like it was like completely threw me out of the film. Like it was either very wonky or it was just like very awkward too. A lot of awkward camera placing in this film. That I know for independent films, they usually tend to be good at stuff like that. And I know for a small budget, because it's more like treated like crafted art, but no, this cinematography is bad. Also, the thing that I don't really understand is the fact how the way the film ended. Now, I'm not going to give any spoilers away because this movie's only 91 minutes long, so it's just short, simple, to the point, but the ending kind of makes me kind of go, like, what? What just happened? Seriously, that actually was my reaction. I think there are going to be some people who get the aspect of the ending, and there are going to be those that don't get it. But for me, I would have gone in a completely different direction on how the film did end it, because where that last character was in that scene of the shot, and then they played the music score by O'Connell, I was like, that did not fit right. I just thought that they could have had a little bit of better direction right there. But overall, this is still a pretty good movie. Another aspect that I can say that's very realistic about this film is considering the fact that a film like this is not just very Hollywood, but it's also stuff like this does happen in real life, and it's scary. But also, this film really does depict the trauma and the grief of what these characters are going through based on what real people would go through in real life. So I know on the news we don't really get on full details on what it's like being in that situation or experiencing it. I think that this film really did depict a good representation on what real life people have gone through And for that, I just say my prayers go to them. And this is a very strong subject. I don't usually like to get political, but stuff like this does happen. And this is why you don't really see me cracking up or joking as much, and not like in my other videos, because stuff like this, it is serious. For the final score, I'm going to give The Fallout an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Look forward to more movie reviews to come along in the future. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe here to the channel for more content. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.